So welcome to Cornell Cooperative Extension's Better Bookkeeping Series. This is session number 5. And I'm going to start the interpretation room now. So goodbye, Javier. And today we're going to hear from a couple of more software program companies about what they do. I don't know, Colin, if you want to say a couple of words.
Yeah, so I'm Colin Hossetter, the Cooperative Extension Farm Business Management Specialist covering St. Lawrence, Jefferson, and Lewis County in northern New York. And today we're pleased to have Annika Duvenek from Wave and Julia Kilkenny from FarmRaise, who are both here, similar to some of our other presentations, to discuss their accounting softwares with you and how they can help you succeed in managing the books on your business and the strengths that each of their products bring to the market. And I guess as a reminder, the presentation is being recorded for those who can't join us live, and that we do encourage you to type in any questions you have, and we'll make sure to get them to the presenters to answer while you guys are on today. So Mary, if we're good to go, I'll introduce our first speaker.
Go ahead.
Awesome. So Anna Duvenek brings her experience from Wave, where she's been empowering entrepreneurs with Wave's accounting software since April 2020. Her passion lies in connecting with small business owners, particularly those who value community and creativity. With roots in the farmlands of Wisconsin, Annika is excited to support you in utilizing Wave as a bookkeeping solution. With that, Annika, we'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Colin. A little intro on myself. Colin already got there. So what is Wave? Wave can be used for different pieces of your business. You create an account and you can do things in Wave, such as using it for doing your own bookkeeping. Wave tries to target small business owners, taking out the accounting knowledge piece of it and breaking it into steps that any business owner, whether they're into farming or arts or whatever their expertise is, not feeling as much pressure of needing to also know everything there is about accounting. Another piece that business owners will find their way to Wave to use is invoicing tools. So if you're looking for ways to communicate to your customers, provide an invoice, and maybe connect that with payments, if that is something you're looking for, invoicing tool is a way to be able to send out invoices or at least create consistent looking professional invoices. And then all of that pulls together in order to be able to generate reports to you for you to use. Additional add-ons that we'll take a look at in Wave in a little bit later is there's different versions of Wave. You can use it for free under the starter plan. There might be some more manual steps that you might need to do, but it's a free option in order to get started with your bookkeeping, because trying to do your bookkeeping is better than leaving it behind or not having it done later on. Or there is a pro plan, which is a paid subscription that does allow for some added features if those are interest to you. Additionally, within Wave, as I mentioned with invoicing, you can turn on payments, which allows your customers to click on those invoices or use a checkout link in order to pay you using a credit card or a bank transfer. You can also use Wave in order to capture your receipts. So there is a mobile app version of it. You can take a picture of those receipts, pull in the details in order to get a copy of the receipt and the business expense in your bookkeeping. And Wave also offers payroll. So if you are a business looking to pay employees or contractors, payroll is all integrated and also pulls into your bookkeeping for the most part. There's some extra review to go there, but because it's all within Wave, it works together and is recorded there in your Wave account as well. As I mentioned, Yes, there is a paid version of Wave. It does have some added features like bank import of transactions is a big one, some discounts on payments, different things there. But there's also a starter plan that I'm actually going to walk through with you today on how you could use it if you're just looking to get started. So what is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is the process of systematically recording and organizing a business's financial transactions. So that might sound complicated, but Wave really wants to just break it into 3 routine steps that you're going to stay on top of on a regular basis. So first, we have importing your transactions. As mentioned with the different plans, there's different ways to do this, but what we want to do is get all of your business transactions into your bookkeeping so that you have a record of those financial activities. Within Wave, you can do this through linking your bank account. That would be part of a pro plan, scanning receipts or attaching a receipt to a transaction in Wave. Under the starter plan, you can also upload a bank statement. So what that is going to your online banking, downloading the transactions and uploading them in bulk. And I'll show you how that works later today. As well as manually adding transactions. So if there are certain transactions that maybe didn't happen in your business bank accounts, if they happened in cash or accidentally hit your personal accounts, you can always add in those pieces of your bookkeeping as well. Step number 2, categorize those transactions. Categorizing is so that you can see where your money is coming from. What type of income was this? Was this sales from the farm market, sales on the farm, an auction, something like that? And where is it going? Is this a fuel expense? Is this seeds, fertilizer? Trying to bucket where your money is going. Within Wave, you can see a simple view. We'll take a look at it in Wave, but each transaction is going to have a date, a description of what it related to, which account it happened in. Was this actually in a bank account, on a credit card, or was there cash for the business that was used? An amount, either a green amount showing a deposit, money coming into the business, or a black amount, money going out. And then the category is the step that we need to do here, where we identify what it relates to and then mark it as reviewed. Step number 3, reconcile your accounts. So the reason that we do this is we want to make sure that we're not missing or duplicating any transactions that actually happened in your bank account. So periodically, you just want to check in with your actual bank statements and make sure that the balance that you see on those statements is what you see in Wave, meaning that you have the same deposits and withdrawals that get you to the same balance, recording income and expenses properly. Within Wave, here you can see it will look like a little timeline, checking in to make sure that the statement balance of what your bank actually has ties to your bookkeeping balance. So why do we do all of this bookkeeping? The main purpose is to get information from all those transactions that happened. So the 2 main reports we're going to take a look at are going to be our profit and loss report. That's going to show you your income, less your expenses, what was your net profit, and then your balance sheet. The balance sheet is a report as of a certain date. It shows you your assets, what the business has. So for example, how much cash do I have in the bank account? Your liabilities, what the business owes. If you have a loan or if you have a credit card, even if you pay off that credit card regularly, whatever the rolling balance is going to be something that the business owes. And the equity is the net value remaining in the business. So assets minus liabilities equals your equity of what remains in the business there. With that financial insight, doing bookkeeping yourself helps you be able to see some of that information throughout the year versus just at year end when you're pulling all that information together and maybe don't realize the good, the bad, any of the transactions that were actually happening and it makes it easier in order to know what is going through your bookkeeping and get that recorded properly versus trying to remember later on, especially around sales. Sometimes taking a look at maybe it just says bank deposit, but you don't know what you actually went to the bank to deposit and what that income actually related to. It can also provide you real-time insights for cash flow reports. So being able to track where your money is going, inflows, outflows, and maybe if there are changes to what you actually budgeted or are hoping to see the year look like. And the other reason to continue doing your bookkeeping on a regular basis throughout the year is so that you're tax ready for your accountant. So rather than having the year-end stress of needing to get everything organized, even if you keep a monthly routine or quarterly routine, then going back, you only have 1 or 3 months to keep up with. So with that, let's take a look at this in Wave. This is just a sample account of Wave. If you log in the top right-hand corner, you set up your business and you can see your business name. And what we're going to do is go over the 3 bookkeeping steps, and then I'll just show you where to find some of the other features of Wave. So number 1, get your transactions into Wave. Under banking, there's connected accounts. As mentioned, this is part of a pro plan, but there's other ways to get your transactions into Wave. So under accounting, transactions is where you're going to spend most of your time. What I'm going to do with you today is show you that you can either manually add transactions. So if you're just missing one, or maybe you need to record a cash transaction, which whether you're using a starter or pro plan, you need to manually record because there's not going to be any bank push from that. You can add deposit or add withdrawal to record maybe money coming into your business. It might be sales or money going out of your business, withdrawal type transaction. In order to upload your transactions in bulk, you can come up to the More button and click Upload Transactions. So let's say I had done January transactions, but I wanted to get caught up for February. Here, the instructions walk you through the steps that you can take. So you can go to your online banking, download transactions to one of these file types, and then attach it here and upload it to account. So here, if I were to say choose file, I have this sample transaction file that is a CSV, which is a type of Excel format. In order to say I want to upload my February bank transactions into my business checking account. And when I click upload, it's going to verify the date of the transactions in here. The deposit transactions. So if it doesn't quite get it right, you can select which column is your deposits. Your description that you want to see related to these transactions. And then once we verify the information, it's going to upload in teal. Over in our transactions page, we now see all the transactions that were in that file uploaded into our bookkeeping. So here we have the date, the description, and the amounts in our business checking account. Before I had only up to end of January transactions, so it was able to upload a bunch of transactions all at once for us. So step number 1, get your transactions into Wave. Step number 2 is going to be categorizing your transactions. So in this 4th column here, you can see where it says category. And what we want to do is identify what this transaction relates to. This can either be done one by one. So maybe we see here a fuel expense. It's a black amount money going out. And if I come down, I can search for my fuel costs and categorize this transaction, as well as mark it as reviewed. I like to mark as reviewed because in this page, you can filter for what is reviewed or not reviewed. So if you want to focus just on the transactions that you still need to take care of and not what is previously completed, it helps you just focus in on what needs to be done so that you can move on. The other thing in this page of why I like to mark transactions as reviewed is because if you do have a pro plan with the bank import, Wave will try to categorize your transactions for you. So learning based on what you had done previously, it will say last time that we saw this vendor name come through from your bank, you categorize this to fuel costs, and we'll try to do it going forward. And if it's correct, you just mark it as reviewed and move on. If it isn't correct, you can correct it, then mark it as reviewed and move on. So it's just a review process. Another feature that I like within here as well is that you don't have to do these one by one. So let's say here I were to search for fuel. In the description, it's pulling up anything that has this exact match description in it. And what you can do is a bulk edit. So if you were searching for fuel and maybe you also wanted to filter just for 2025, maybe you had done 2024, you don't want to make any changes to what had previously happened, you can identify the transactions that you want to change and use this bulk edit transactions. So here I could say change the category for all of these to fuel costs. And when I click apply, rather than doing all of these individually, they all get updated. In that page, you could have also bulk marked as reviewed right there, or you can do it as a second step with this blue check mark. So here, they're all updated. They have faded gray, we have a green check mark, and they're categorized to fuel. If I were to come back to my filter and apply and clear my search, then I'm just filtered for not reviewed and I can move on categorizing some of my other expenses. So as to review, let's say that we want to do vendor fees. Here I can select all, bulk edit, edit the category to vendor fees, and also mark as reviewed at the same time. Within Wave, when you set up your account, it's going to give you some suggested accounts based on what you say your business does. But if you ever run into where you want to categorize something to a category that's not already there, you can also add one. So here, let's say that we wanted to have some auction income and it wasn't already listed here. I had created this one for us today, but you can always add a new account, identify what type of account it is so that it shows it in the right place, and then add additional income or expense categories so that you can have more insight when you look at your reports. One thing that I want to note here, if it isn't related to income or expenses, let's say that I just decided that I needed to put some personal funds into the business account. You can use this account deposit from personal in order to use owner investment in drawings to show that I put this money into the business or I drew this money out of the business, and it won't get included as part of your business profit and loss statement. The other unusual thing here is if you have transfers. So within this account, I created both a petty cash account for keeping track of how much physical cash I have, and then also my business checking account. So whether it's between cash and checking or a credit card, if you're ever moving money between different accounts for your business, you want to categorize that as a transfer. So for example, here, if I went to the bank, I deposited cash, I have a deposit into my business checking, and then I no longer have that physical cash. So you're going to have a transfer to or from between your different business accounts. The third step of bookkeeping, as mentioned, is going to be reconciliation. So over here, what this is actually checking in with your bank statement in order to enter an ending balance date, an ending balance amount, and see that it matches to Wave so that there's not any missing or duplicate transactions from what actually happened. If everything reconciles, it won't even take you into the page. It's just a check-in. But if there is something to fix, you want to go one by one and kind of see what is either there that doesn't belong there, or what is missing that needs to be added in. And we do all of this for our reports. So over on the left-hand side under reports, up at the top, we see the two main reports that I mentioned, our profit and loss statement and our balance sheet. And there's a bunch of other supporting reports. So if you need to keep track of sales tax, or you're using payroll, if you're using invoicing and want to see customer detail, or bills and contractors for vendor payments, or if your accountant's looking for specific accounting reports, that's all here. But I'm going to click into profit and loss statement. And here we can see that you can expand, and what we've already categorized is going to go to those specific buckets of income or expenses. And anything that you haven't done yet is going to go to uncategorized income or uncategorized expense until you've done that step of categorizing all of your transactions. So until your transactions are all in Wave, you've categorized and you've reconciled, you don't necessarily want to be relying on these reports. Let's say I had already done January, everything was there. You can also find some shortcuts here for different reports that you're looking for. So here I could update and just look at January transactions. As mentioned, within Wave, there is also invoicing tools. So over on the left-hand side under sales and payments, you could be using invoicing in order to create invoices for your customer, and tell them what you need to be paid for, and manage recording payment or tracking any overdue invoices. Along with that, Wave offers payment collections. So if you send out that invoice, having a button right there on that invoice in order for your customer to pay. There is a fee for those credit card fees that just gets deducted from what actually gets deposited into your bank account. But it makes it simple for your customers to make payment right there, as well as checkouts is a link. So if you wanted to be selling something on your website, you could just have a link for a customer to go to your website, find it, and pay. And then there's different pieces of reports that come along with sales and payments, managing customers and products sold. Under receipts is where I mentioned you can actually use your phone app to take a picture of a receipt. It's going to look for the date, the description, and the amount, and pull it into your bookkeeping, find the account that it matches to best it can. And then there's also payroll features. So if you're looking to run payroll, we run payroll for both the US and Canada. So as long as employees are there, that will all be integrated to help you calculate the taxes, direct net pay to your employees, direct taxes to both the federal and state jurisdiction, and then prepare your forms at your end as well. And then within Wave as well, our parent company is H&R Block. So if you've completed your books within Wave, here you could say that I want to move on to filing my taxes for my sole proprietor, and then decide to either file by yourself or work with someone at H&R Block in order to get that completed as well. Awesome. So with all that, any questions?
As we wait for people to add their questions in, I've got a couple that I can ask you while we see if anybody else does. The one is so it's becoming more and more common in agriculture to have like an operating entity where the business is operated through, and then a real estate entity which might have other transactions. Does Wave have the ability to have multiple entities available?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So you can have a Wave user account, which would be how you log in. And then you can go to switch businesses, and you can have more than one business set up within Wave. So if it is related companies, you can have that all under one email that kind of relates to that business. If they're just completely separate, or maybe one you own by yourself and one you're a partnership with, you might just want to have separate logins and then create the business under a neutral email where you share it with someone else.
Awesome. And we did have a question come in the chat that was just about if you could talk about quickly talk about managing assets and depreciation within Wave.
Yeah, absolutely. So within Wave, I didn't touch on it because, again, there's lots to talk about, tight on time, but within your chart of accounts, you can set up not just income and expenses, but if you did have assets, property, plant, and equipment, and depreciation to track, you can make those entries as well. Bookkeeping, there's kind of different levels. There's doing the bookkeeping of just keeping track of transactions as they happen during the year. And then also the accounting step of deciding, is this a capitalized asset or is this small enough that I can just take a deduction for it? So I always appreciate just at least bucketing it into somewhere, either an asset or an expense, and then review that with your accountant at year end to decide the official treatment that you're going to take on it.
Cool. We had another question come in. Thank you for that. That's good to know. Asked if you're showing the starter or the upgraded plan. I believe this is the starter plan, correct?
Yep, this is the starter. So you can actually see in the top right corner where I have my pretend business name. It says starter here. If you want, you can always change your plan under business settings. And down here under manage subscription, you can see if you're on a starter plan or if you want to upgrade to a pro account.
And while you're on that one, the next question is, you were talking about how you can't have multiple entities. If you're under one account name, is there multiple fees per business entity, or once you pay the fee, can you have as many businesses as you want under there?
So the pro plan is by business.
Okay.
So that might be where your operating business, you care more about getting the bank feed because there's more transactions. It's a lot more to push into your bookkeeping versus maybe if it's a real estate company, if you only have 10 transactions a month, you might decide it's not worth it or you're not invoicing out of that business. So you can have different businesses with different plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I think since there's no other questions right now in the chat,
Awesome.
I
I'm
think
just
we'll
gonna
end right on time to switch it over to Julia. And if I think you said you can stay on for us, so that'd be great. If anything else comes in that we can ask you at the end, that'd be great.
Perfect. I'm going to take 30 more seconds. So
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
part
Yeah.
of professional services at Wave. I manage a coaching team. So if you're ever looking for one-on-one help, that is what my team does. There's also a bunch of free resources. So you can go to Wave's Help Center in order to find either articles or videos on your own. As part of Wave Advisors, we also offer one-on-one help. And in what Colin is sharing today, we have some discounts on that. If you're interested, you can just reach out to me via email.
Sorry
I
about that. I
will
didn't mean
I
to
will
cut
be
you
here
off too
at the end
soon.
as well for any additional questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being on and sharing about Wave. And I guess with that, we'll turn to FarmRaise now with Julia. Julia Kilkenny is FarmRaise's head of sales, where she spent the last 3 years helping farmers access tools they need to grow their operations. With deep roots in Ohio's farming community, she understands firsthand the challenges and opportunities that come with agriculture. Outside of work, Julia enjoys time with her husband in their golden doodle Conway. And in just a few short weeks, she will be adding a new title on her resume of mom. Congratulations. And with that, take it away.
Thanks so much, Colin. I'm really excited to be here and talk to you guys a little bit more about FarmRaise. I'd love to start out just kind of talking a little bit about our start, and then we'll jump right in the software because I always feel like there's too much content sometimes for the time that we have. So FarmRaise got started in 2020 with our founders, Sammy and Jace. And Jace grew up on an Angus beef farm in Virginia, and Sammy was a USDA project manager. And they met at Stanford University's agriculture program. So they really realized between the experience of both of them together was really realized just how much farmers needed farmer-friendly financial tools that were simple to use, not super complicated. I always like to say that FarmRaise is hopefully everything you need and nothing you don't, instead of having a whole bunch of different features that you just may not ever use. So that's kind of how we got started, and we'll just jump right into the software. So this is what the front page of our, once you log in and you have a premium membership, what this looks like. So You're going to see your homepage and you're going to see a breakdown of all of your different expenses and income. And then you'll be able to hop right over here into transactions. And what you can do is you can actually link your bank account and your credit card. So you can have those transactions automatically pulled in if you'd like, but you can also add them manually. So I know sometimes just depends on how you like to have it set up. So this is if you're having your transactions automatically pulled in, you can see kind of how these are tagged, but if you're going to add them manually, it's really simple. You're just going to add the vendor name. You can choose a transaction type, what that amount was for. You can also mark it as a transfer if that's what it is. And then what dates you can backdate transactions, whenever you need to, or even future transactions that you know are going to be coming in. And then you can choose the account that it's coming from. So whatever linked account that you have, a manual account, if that's what you have, and credit cards. Then you can also split the expense. So say you went to Tractor Supply and you got chicken feed and you also got seed. They're all on one receipt. You're going to want to be able to split that expense. So you're going to add in the transaction, the description for the transaction, the amount, and then the category. So I'll get to this more in just a second, but our categories are all Schedule F categories that are pre-built into the software. So we are ag specific. You can always build custom categories if you wish, but those are already preloaded into the software for you. So you just got them ready to go. And then you can also link it to a product. So, this is for your chickens. You're going to want to make sure that it's linked for that so that it's being tied to the right product, which we'll see over here in just a second. And you can add as many splits as you need to. As far as notes, you can add in, anything, pick this up on this day for this reason. Some of that's going to already be in here, but if you just have a note that you want to add, you can. And then you can upload a receipt. So if you've got that pre-scanned in, you can upload it then, but we also have a mobile app, so you can just snap and go on the go. If you're at the store and you want to just throw that receipt out right away, take a picture of it, upload it to the transaction, and you're ready to roll. And then we're going to pop over to categories. So like I said, we've got all of the Schedule F categories pre-built, but if you want to add an expense or revenue category that is custom, you can do that here. So we'll put chicken feed, and then you can choose if you want to put it on your Schedule F or not. And what category on that Schedule F you're going to want to have it under. So, maybe it's custom work income, whatever you kind of want to break it out to, but you can also choose not to have it under your Schedule F. So this is really helpful when you are tracking. I know I've had a lot of farmers say, I have a trucking business that I want to track alongside. I've got my personal expenses that I want to track alongside my farm. How do I do that? You can just add the category in custom and then make sure it doesn't go on your Schedule F. Just turn that toggle off. And then we'll hop over to products. So this is kind of how it's broken out. So you can see really what you're making on each enterprise that you have. So how much am I making on my alpacas? How much am I making on my dairy cattle? It really breaks down and helps you see a quick view of exactly what you're making. Is this a good, entity or project for you to still be running? And then you can always add new ones right in here. It's very simple. And it'll save it as a new product for you. These are the accounts, so it'll just show you which bank accounts you have linked, which, if you want to add a manual account like a cash account, petty cash, you can do that as well. And then when you want to connect your bank account, it's very easy to do it here or add it manually. And then you can also do credit cards as well. So you'll be able to just see a quick view of all of your accounts right here. And then something that makes us stand out is our inventory tracking. So you can track your inventory, add it as you need to. And then you can choose what type of inventory. Is it a product? Is it a crop, livestock? And then where is that product located? Is it in silo 1? Do you have your grain in silo 2? Which field is it in? How much, what quantity is it? It helps you keep a good viewpoint of where your products are and, just how much you have to sell. And you can add as many locations as you need. Then what unit of measurement it's going to be under. a market price per unit, and then when that market price per unit was established. So as I'm sure you all know right now, costs are going up on everything. So if you need to update that market price, you can mark when that market price was updated and see kind of the growth or the inflation of that as time goes along. Then you can add any notes that you need. And you can choose to add the inventory to your assets, which is really handy come tax time. So it automatically adds that in, and it shows you a real-time view of what your assets are looking like in your inventory. You'll also see that there's an activity log here. So, you have 31 pints of strawberries at $4.99. They're in fridge 1. You can add an activity like you washed and packaged those strawberries. Where did you do that? Are they still in fridge 1? What date did you do that? And it will automatically update and show you on this activity log what has happened with this product over time. How many did you sell? You sold 12 on invoice, this invoice out of fridge 1. It's going to keep a really good running log of what happened with this product. I was just talking to a microgreens grower the other day who was saying this was really vital for him, just kind of showing how many hands had touched it. Where had this been, where this head of lettuce been, just in case anything happens, being able to track that throughout time was really important to that grower. And then for the invoicing side of things, so it's really nice because invoicing is directly tied to inventory. So you're going to be able to invoice for a product and it's going to pull directly out of your inventory. It's going to keep it updated automatically for you. Here's kind of what an invoice looks like, or, we'll start a new invoice. So your business information will always be saved, your address, your default tax rate, and your default payment method. So we do not act as a payment processor. We aren't a third party. So you will always go through your own payment processor, whether it's Stripe, Square, Venmo, Cash, check. You can just add that in as your default payment method. You can also leave it blank. It's totally optional, but you'll be able to put a payment link into your invoice and have them pay that way. That way we're not getting in the middle of it. You can just go directly with your payment processor and handle it with that customer. So that's kind of a nice feature. I know some other platforms will sometimes make you use their bank account. So this is just keeping it however you like, you can invoice. And then when you have existing customers, once you set up a customer once and you've invoiced them before, you'll be able to click this and it's going to automatically include everything, all of their customer information, so that you're not having to retype it time after time. Then you can put in that sales tax rate. You can put in the payment method. You can update those if you like. You've got the default ones, but you can always edit as you go. The invoice date, when it is due. Any notes that you've got for this customer, purchase order number. And then this is where you're going to get into your inventory. So you're going to choose something like strawberries. You've got a special type of strawberry. You can put it in the description. And then it's going to show you how much of your inventory you have available. And then after you invoice for this one, how many will you have remaining? And then you can also choose to have it deducted from inventory or not. It's very handy to have it just automatically deducted, but if you don't want it to, you can also toggle that off. You can put the unit, include the sales tax, or if you don't need to do that, and then you'll save it. It'll start processing down here, and you'll be able to email, download, email it to your customer, download it yourself. You can download it as a PDF and email it directly if you've got some other notes that you want to send to them. And this will be your PDF preview. So you can see what that invoice looks like before you send it or download it. You can also include your logo up here. And that's what an invoice looks like. So that's really nice to just be able to, again, download it for your own records. Also, when you send it to that user, it'll allow you to email yourself a copy as well so that you've got those for your records. And then we get into the fun stuff, tax prep. Always, you know, an exciting time of the year, I'm sure we're all experiencing right now. So with mileage tracking, currently it is just a manual tracking of, you can choose your vehicle, how many miles you went, you know, what your origin and destination were, and your business purpose. Very simple to use. We have gotten some asks to maybe add GPS tracking in the future, and it is something that we're thinking about right now. But just full transparency, you kind of just enter it in like this for right at the moment. And then it'll give you a log of where that car's been, how many miles, you know, what that entry kind of looks like. So you'll be able to print that out at the end of the year, give it to your accountant, and they'll be able to see that mileage and do all their magic on that end. And then with assets, so you saw me kind of be able to toggle on the assets with our inventory tracking. So when this would be a current asset. So corn from your inventory, it's going to show you that number. What I really like is, because this can get really confusing sometimes, is it'll give you a little note on what is a current asset considered. You know, it's going to be converted into cash or used up within one operating cycle or 1 year. So it's going to kind of instruct you along the way, so you make sure you're putting these entries in the right categories. Intermediate assets like your machinery or your trucks. And long-term assets. So something that's going to provide economic benefits for more than 10 years. So it's going to be your land, your mortgage. It's very simple to add them in. Just what the category is, what that asset type is, and you can add new ones if you need to. The asset name, and then the valuation. So market, depreciation, and your description. It's going to look very similar for liabilities. So again, it's going to have that note. I'm going to show you so you kind of know where to put these things in, but it's going to be things like operating loans, lines of credit, accrued interest. And these are very simple to add as well. So you can add new liability types, but we've got some right in here. What that liability name is, your outstanding balance, your lender, interest rate, got it all. And then your long term. So this is going to be a great place to be able to track these things. So at the end of the year, again, when you print out your information, you've got it all ready for your accountant. And then something that's really nice about our software as well is that it's going to help you generate a Schedule F report at the end of the year. So you've entered your numbers faithfully all year long, hopefully, and you kept up with, you know, your invoices, your assets, your liabilities, all that good stuff. At the end of the year, it's going to ask you some questions that you can see here, and it's going to export, I always like to say 95% of what you're going to need to fill out your Schedule F form. Now, we are not certified tax professionals, so legally I have to say that, you know, we want you to take your Schedule F to your accountant and make sure that everything looks good at the end of the year, that you've entered everything in the right areas, or they can enter it for you if you just bring them this report. But it is 95% of what you need for doing that. So it's going to cut down on billable hours with your accountant. It's going to make it a lot easier. Generally, the accountants are a lot happier because everything's nice and organized. There's not a shoebox of receipts. But the 5% that it doesn't do right now is depreciation. So that's something that they can calculate. It's just very, very variable depending on where you're at, what kind of operation you have, things like that. So you can download it, you can email it, and it'll be all ready to go. And then we've got financial statements. So things like our income statement, the cash basis, you'll be able to kind of break this down however you wish and like however your accountant wants to see it. So you can do a custom date range, do prior month, last 30 days, just depends on what kind of report you're looking for with that. You can break it down by account, and you'll see this with all of these financial statements. You can really customize them for whatever you need or whatever your accountant needs. So you can just choose to look at what's coming out of one bank account or what's been coming in and out of one credit card. What does that income statement look like? Then revenue categories, you can select or unselect certain ones. And then it's going to show you which one, because sometimes these lists are very long, you know, which categories do you actually have selected? Which ones are you looking at? That's going to be right here. Expense categories, same thing. So you can choose, select or unselect the ones that you need. And then what products are you looking at? Do you just want to see this income statement for alpacas with these categories? What does that look like? So with this balance sheet, you're going to see that you've got your assets, again, the ones you entered in up here, and your liabilities. And you can also include outstanding invoice balances, which is really handy. And then you can just generate that. And it's going to break it all down for you again. So you've got a better view of what your farm finances are, but then you can also take these to your accountant as they need it. And then this is our custom report category. So again, you can really just, whatever you need to see, you can break it down by category. So Schedule F category or custom category, by product, date range, again, what accounts you're looking at. Are you looking at just one bank account? Your revenue, your expenses, and then products. So again, which one of these do you want to look at? Do you want to look at multiples? Everything in your entire farm? Just depends. And then this is kind of what that looks like for that custom report. And then you can also export your data. So I know this has been kind of a sticking point with some other platforms. It's sometimes easy to enter your data in and really hard to get it out. So we want to make it easy. You can do, your mileage, your assets, your liabilities. You can just do bulk exports of all that information, your transactions, your receipts. So you've just got a record of that if you'd like to store it on your computer. Our software is cloud-based, so everything's going to be in the cloud and safe if your computer goes down. But if you just like to have a paper copy, we totally understand that. So you can download all of that to your computer. Then we've got Help Center. You can give us feedback. This is how we grow. Truly, we have built this software just by talking to our farmers. We're talking to them weekly. We're interviewing them as like on the front lines of customer service or sales, all the way to our product team. We are talking to our farmers because we don't want to build something that we think that they need, but they don't actually need. So give us as much feedback as you possibly can if you're on board with us. Then you can see your profile information, your business information if you need to update your logo, your business name, anything like that. And then this is really nice. If you are coming over from another platform, you can upload your data. So you may be leaving something called QuickBooks and you've exported your information. You can use that CSV document to bring that information over into our platform and bring those transactions in bulk so that you don't have to manually enter one by one for that time. You can also export your bank statement and you can use that the same way. So you're uploading everything in bulk, all your transactions can come in quickly, and then all you have to do is categorize them, which makes it nice and easy. And then something else that we have also available is our payroll platform. So if you need payroll, this is a great way to kind of have everything tied together, everything in one place. And we do allow you, and again, you can see all of this on our website, but your payroll is going to be able to be run anytime. So if you're, paying an employee or contractor weekly, biweekly, special one-off runs that you need to send, we're able to accommodate that and offer you that flexibility. And then you can also generate their W-2s automatically, their 1099s, automatically pay and file the payroll taxes on behalf of your company. So that makes it just nice and easy. You don't think about it. And then we have a nice full overview demo if that's a feature that you're interested in. I know we're limited on time, but just wanted to share that it really is a nice, easy way to kind of tie it all together. And here you'll see that you can toggle between tracks and payroll and funding. I'm sure you're all curious about this one, so we'll hop into that. This is kind of a added bonus to our premium subscription. So it is a self-serve funding library. We'll hop right into here, where you can sort by your location, your entity type, the deadline. And this is a fun one because what do you want funding for? It's going to allow you to toggle, do you specifically want it for just about anything and you want to kind of just scroll through this yourself? Do you want it for farm education or maybe for farmers markets? You'll be able to tailor your funding opportunity search. And it's basically a library of hundreds of opportunities that we have found so that you're not spending hours Googling and trying to find these opportunities that are more applicable to you. So you'll see that this even brought up a few. And then funding sources. As we know, there's some uncertainty in what government funding is looking like right now. So you can also look at private and nonprofit entities and see what they are offering. You can also see programs specifically for certain groups of people. And then you can also get funding alerts. So we're going to update you, if there's a new alert for your state. There's not a lot coming out right now, but it will, once you put that information in, you'll be able to get that right into your inbox when there's a new opportunity that pops up in your state. You can save the programs. You can also generate your EQIP application on demand, which is great. It'll just intake your information and spit that out for you. And then for your FSA records, if you're looking for a farm number, you can also generate that paperwork on demand. And then we are a cooperator with the FSA. So we've got an educational hub here, which is really handy. That's actually free for anybody to use. So I can send along this link so anybody can take a look at that. And yeah, there's a lot of really great information here that can be really helpful. So with that, I also want to add a little bit about our pricing. Just move this over here. Okay, so our pricing is, we've got basically two tiers. We've got our premium membership, which tracks the accounting software, everything you kind of saw today. And then we've also got the premium plus payroll. Premium plus payroll is exactly that. It is premium membership plus payroll. That's all the additional stuff that it is. So if you're needing payroll, this is a great option. If you don't, premium is an excellent option. You get the funding library, all the accounting features and everything. So you can choose to pay yearly or monthly. You save a little bit with yearly. And with yearly, if you sign up, you get into it for 2 months and you decide that it's not the right fit for you, we will give you a prorated refund. So there's really no risk to signing up for yearly if that's what you want to do. Save a little bit of money. I know every penny counts right now. I'll also be sending along, there's a 10% off coupon that will get you 10% off of premium. And that is the coupon code on that, which I'll send in the chat, is Cornell10. And then we also have a new offering, which I want to call out here because you'll also get 10% off of that. And that is annual financial planning. So you'll be able to meet with a ag-specific ag accountant, and you'll get 4 30-minute meetings with them per year, so quarterly. You can meet with them, go over any questions that you have. It's going to be guided by an expert. They know how to use tracks. You can use it for anything that you need, helping analyze your numbers, strategic planning, just making sure that you're making the most out of your financial opportunities. So with that coupon, you get 10% off of this service as well. That's an add-on service. And with our pricing, yearly or monthly on premium, you are locked in for, the pricing is locked in for as long as you're a member. So it's not going to go up on you like a cable subscription. We all like to know what our costs are going to be from year to year. So if you sign up for that, whatever price you sign up at, that is the price that you're locked into, even if our pricing goes up in the future, which is a really nice added bonus. So I'd like to leave a couple minutes for questions. So hopefully that was informative.
Awesome. Yeah, the only you touched on the pricing. So I think the only thing that you didn't answer, I was trying to keep track that that Annika did, is the multiple entity situation. Does that work? How does that work for FarmRaise?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now you can track one farm entity, so one Schedule F entity per account, because
Okay.
it will spit out one, it'll generate one Schedule F report per account, but you can track as many other non-farm entities as you want beside it. So like I said, trucking enterprises, personal expenses, anything that doesn't need a Schedule F. If you do need more than one account, we've got plenty of people who need that. We do offer multi-membership discounts, so just feel free to reach out, let us know how many accounts you're kind of looking at, and we'll be able to give you special pricing based on that.
Awesome. Well, while we're waiting for other specific questions for you to come in, a few that I thought of that I'd hope that both of you guys can answer is, both of you guys talked about receipt storage and whatnot, and if you go with the premium routes, it's connected to your accounts. Everybody is obviously concerned about security and all that and data storage. I guess, Julia, since you just ended, we'll start with you. Could you just briefly touch base on your security and data storage, and then we'll have Annika follow up with Wave's stance on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have bank level security. So we're backed by bank level security. So the same kind of data security that you're going to have from your bank is also what we have set up. We know how important data security is, especially in this day and age. So I can definitely send along, more granular information on kind of what all the aspects are of that. I could pop that in the chat, but yeah, essentially the easy way to say it is full bank level backed security is what we have over here.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Annika.
Wave has multi-factor authentication turned on for all accounts. And then for if you have added users, maybe someone's helping you with bookkeeping, or you want your accountant on there with the Pro plan, you can add multiple users so they'll have their own login in order to get into their Wave account. And then there's no limit on how much information you can have in Wave. Your account is your information. You're the only one who has access, or anyone that you granted permission to.
Okay. Desiree, I see you have your hand up. If you want to go ahead and unmute and.
So Colin, that was a perfect lead into the question that I had. So my question is the ability to download or for the farm to retain their information should they leave your service, especially on the paid services. How can they access and migrate their information to wherever they go next?
I guess we'll start with Annika this time. You want to take that one first?
Sure, no problem. So within Wave in the reports page, you can download to either CSV file, any of your reports, or to a PDF. And then in the business settings, you can download all of your information. So that's going to have like everything from your account. How it imports into a different system, I think kind of depends on the other system. Usually what happens when you switch from one software to another is you'll upload the prior year or multiple years trial balances. So essentially totals of how much income expenses you had, what does the balance sheet look like, and then you'll move forward with the detailed transactions in that new system. So you can still compare reports, but the details usually still live in the old system where you originally did that bookkeeping. You can upload prior year information. Usually bank import will import based on how far the bank itself allows you to view detailed transactions going back. So there's a lot of people who will catch up.
Focused towards the access of the information historically once a switch was made.
Yeah, you could always still have access to your account, just downgrade from Pro to Starter, and then always see your information. Just because you don't pay for Pro anymore doesn't mean that you lose access to your information.
Julia, how about you on exporting your guys' information if someone were to choose to move on from FarmRaise?
Yeah. So as I kind of showed in the presentation, there's a few different areas where you can export that information. So you do, like, it's your information. You should be able to get access to it and get it out of our platform if you decide to, unfortunately, go somewhere else. We hope you stay. But that's a great way, place to start. But also, we work directly with our farmers. If you come to us and say, I want everything, I just, something's not working for me, obviously we hope that you have a conversation and we can help and change things in some type of way, good feedback. But just let us know and say, I want everything out. And our engineering team will help you get all of your information in one fell swoop out of our program. Also, full transparency, because I get this question from farmers, we are a startup. We've been around for 5 years. We're very healthy. Things look good. But if for some reason we were to have something happen in the future, we are very much dedicated to having our team help every single farmer get their information out of our platform. We don't want you to ever be stuck in the lurch and, you know, suddenly we close up shop one day and you don't have access to any of your information. So that's kind of how we look at it.
Awesome. Now, I know we're just past the hour. Do you guys have time for one more question? Because I know I didn't give you much time for each of you, but I know it's important to farmers on, I guess I'll give you like each 30 seconds so we don't go too long, but is there a budgeting feature if folks are looking to look forward in each of your platforms? So Julia, you just ended. I'll go back to you first, then we'll go to Annika.
Yeah, that's a great question. Currently, we don't have kind of projections or budgeting feature in the software. It is something we've gotten a few asks for, again, with just talking to our farmers, and it is something that we're probably going to look into in the future. But that would be something great to kind of use our financial planning add-on for, to be able to talk to an accountant and like really get that face-to-face interaction and say, what should I be budgeting? Like what, based on what you see in my finances, like how should this look going forward? How can I be most strategic about utilizing what I have going on at my farm? So something we might add, but yeah, you can use that for now.
Awesome.
Same for Wave. It's in the product roadmap. The idea and wish is out there, but there's not currently any budgeting or forecasting tool within Wave.
Okay. Perfect. With that, I'm not seeing any other questions. So Mary, if you're all set, we'll wrap it up here. And I want to remind everybody that the next session, the final session in the program is going to be on March 27th at noon. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. And again, thank you to our two presenters today. You know, I think you guys hit the nail on the head with what we were looking for to get everybody exposed to as many platforms as possible. So now that they've done that, they can digest them all and choose which one is going to be best for serving their business and the way they need to do their bookkeeping. So thank you both again for taking the time out today.
Yep, thank you, and
Thank
see you
you.
all in 2 weeks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.